Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today is day 2 of the wiring of the lower level south wall of the tiny house remodel. Got the porch light wiring done yesterday, in case you missed that video. That's one of the things we're going to work on today. We're going to get a wire through there, get it tightened down, and then go up and through into this upper area, and then that'll go over and down to a switch here. I believe that's the first thing I'm going to start with. I may, actually, all of this stuff right here was for locating this hole right here. And what I'm going to do, I've done this in the house before, is glue this to the wall. This is cut at 5 degrees on either end, and if it's put in there right with this text kind of level, when it's put in there, all I got to do is drill a hole through to the outside, and then once this is fastened in place, I'll be able to take a router on the outside and route that out with a flush trim bit, and then I'll drywall over it on the inside, poke a hole in there, and use a roto zip to zip the hole on this side, and then I'll have a perfect passageway for all of the mini split plumbing and stuff. I have the brackets figured out as well. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this or not. Where did I draw that? I'm gonna have to beef up one of the studs and then add some blocking for this. Yeah, we got 13. So yeah, I'll have to figure this out again. I drew this up last night. I got this cut this morning. Figure this out again, and we'll get these blocks in place. I gotta measure down from where the ceiling is gonna be. It has to be at least 4 inches from the ceiling, and for some reason they never make these mounting plates for a mini split so that the holes are 14 or 16 on center. So I'll add this onto one of the pieces, and then I believe I have to add it onto this side, and then on this side I have to add in these right here. These are 1 inch, like that, and then my pipe is going to go right on the edge of that, and I'll throw some strap around it. I'm going to glue it with JB Weld Clear Weld glue. It's just 5-minute epoxy, really strong 5-minute epoxy, and with any luck this won't take too long. This is pretty complicated, so yeah, we'll just do that first. We'll get the mini split stuff in place, then we'll do the wiring there. Once all of that stuff's done, I could start pulling wire. I got everything drilled yesterday, so I'll pull the wire, get the boxes in place, and oh, I actually have to get these big legs in place. I got a lot to do today. Alright, let's start by figuring out exactly where this mini split's gonna go and get those blocks put in place. Okay, I got this all done. What these are beef ups for the screw pattern on the bracket. The bracket will come to right about here, and well, actually it might even come past here. That'll be on the drywall though, but the hole centers on this particular unit or particular bracket, that would be one of the hole centers right there, and they're in a line going upwards. And the other one is right at the edge of this 1x material, and we have kind of a messed up stud here, but it's going to work just fine anyways. And then this is the hole where everything goes out. This I'm going to let dry for a couple days It's 5-minute epoxy, but it gets to full strength, I believe, after 24 hours, but there's no reason to cut the hole yet. So I'm gonna wait till tomorrow or the day after. And what I'll do is just take a spade bit, drill a hole through the wall from the inside, and then go to the outside, use a flush trim bit, and then just run it around the edge. Then I'll have a perfect hole on the outside. I believe I said this already, but just to reiterate, and that'll cut all that glue and all that stuff as well. I'll take some sandpaper and make sure all the edges are nice and smooth, get that repainted with the color from the outside, and then once we cover the wall, I'll just take a measurement from where the wall's gonna be, the drywall on one side and the ceiling, and then with those two measurements, I'll drill a hole right through here and then use a roto zip to zip that out. Then I'll have a perfect passage through the wall, and I don't have to worry about insulation, all that other stuff. I'll insulate with foam in these two areas, and then my batt insulation, I'll put that right around this. I'll cut it rounded like that, and it's gonna fit nice and tight. The particular unit that I'm putting in here is a Pioneer 9000 BTU. They go all the way up to 36,000 BTU, and I believe they have 4 different brackets. The bracket goes over the drywall, so this is not the bracket, this is just blocking so that the screws that hold the bracket to the wall go into something substantial. You can also use drywall anchors, but I don't trust drywall anchors. I want to screw into something substantial like this. If you are going to use drywall anchors, position your unit so that at least some of the screws go into a stud, like a line of them go into a stud, and then other ones go into the drywall like that. But you have to position it so that you can drill through for the pipe without hitting one of the studs as well. So you're going to need a good stud finder if you're doing it on an existing wall. You're going to need a good stud finder, and you need the dimensions and layout of the bracket. This is just what I wrote down for working in here, but I'll show you what the bracket looks like, or the instructions look like, on the PDF online. And again, usually you run the lines through and then bend them, and then they go down and they go over into the unit on the outside, like the unit would be right there. In this case, the lines are going to go down, they're going to go down to the bottom of the building, they're going to go to the corner and around the corner, and the unit's going to be right here. Most of them come with about 16 feet of line. This right here is 6 feet, and then we have probably just enough to get to the unit with the lines that they supply with it. Okay, enough about the mini split for now, but we will come back to this and I'll show you everything when I install it as well. Oh, and to reiterate, this gets no electricity right here. Wherever the unit is going to be outside, that's where you run the electrical to. So this will have a line coming down, it'll go through the wall, and we'll have a 30 amp shutoff out there, and that'll power the unit, and then the unit itself sends the electricity through them lines back to the interior unit. Alright, I cut a cripple, and what that's going to do is just sit on the floor like this. I have some caulk right there, so I don't want to sit it on the caulk. What am I doing? And that's how I locate the boxes. The boxes generally have a little tab on the side so that you don't go too deep with them. And then you get the boxes in place. I believe they're going to go about like that. Get the boxes in place, rest it on the 2x4, and then nail it in. I'm going to go around and get all these boxes nailed in, then we'll start running the wire. show you what we're doing with these big anchor spacks. This sill is sitting on treated plywood, which is sitting on a doubled up frame. So the doubled up frame is 2.5 inch boards on edge, as represented by these two lines. So we want our spacks to either fall right in the middle of this one or possibly in the middle of the one to the outside, but this is what we're going to shoot for. So we have a 1/2 inch where there's nothing, and then we have 3/4 of an inch to the center of that. So that is 1.25 inches. So we'll just set the combination square to 1.25 inches. And then with these big 3/8 inch spacks like this, I like to drill a small pilot hole just so you don't split everything out. They say you don't need to, but when you're driving something that big, especially when you're closer to the end like that, that could crack this board right in half. So we're going to drill a bunch of pilot holes, but first we're going to go around and mark the locations of all these. We'll get all these in and then we'll start pulling some wire. This 1/2 inch impact wrench and these 1/2 inch Torx bits really drive these big spacks just like butter. Look at the size of these spacks. Well, look at this one. What is that? That is a T80. Huge. I'll put a link to this stuff below. Really good stuff. All right, we have all of our spacks in place and all of our boxes. Okay, I'm almost done with this wiring. I just need to pull this through the hole here and up into the box, cut this off and get that into this box. But I just wanted to show you how I got this second wire through the corner here. What I did was strip back about 6 inches and then cut everything off but the white wire, and then taped it so that the ends of things wouldn't get hooked on anything. And then I just fish the white wire into the hole and used my little flashlight. It's real easy to see the white wire. That's why I don't use the black wire. Copper would have been easy as well. But once you see it, use your needle nose, reach in, grab it, pull it through. All right, let me finish this up and then we'll start on the communication lines. Okay, I have the south wall and the southeast wall all wired up. Just got to tuck these in. Now I need to put my Cat 6 through these holes here. We got one going to the low voltage outlet or low voltage box right here, and one going to here. So those are going to go through here, and then up towards the top of this area, and I'm just going to leave a loop of wire up here so that once I figure out exactly where the equipment's going in here, I can drill the holes and run it right to the equipment. So this won't take too long. Let me get this done real quick and then we'll clean up and wrap this up. Alright, the communication lines are done, and if you've ever seen these, this will just have RJ6? It'll just have a plug right here. We'll connect that wire to the plug, and same thing on this end. So the wire will have to be fed through, then we'll put the plug on there, and it'll plug right into the router, which will be right here. Okay, I thought I was done. I was going to start cleaning up, but I still have this. Where is that? Got a hole going through here. We got to get a wire going to the porch light, and I'm not exactly sure. I guess I can staple it all the way across, and then we'll just move this and hang the coil, that coil right there. Hang the coil right here because we don't have any of the rest of that ready. Once I get the box put here, I can run the wire down here and across over to the box, to the switches there. So let's get this wired up and then we'll get this cleaned up, and next thing in here will be getting the insulation back in the wall, and then we're gonna move to this wall. Holy moly, I was vacuuming and then I remembered one last thing that I need to do. I need to get some caulk on this bottom edge right here. I don't think there's any way for critters to get up through there, but I'm gonna make sure. The tiny little ants can get through the smallest of spaces, and any place like this where there's a crack in the wood or the ply is being held out by something, it doesn't look like any places are bad enough for ants to get through. But if there is a place, they will get through. So it'll only take a few seconds to go from right there all the way around and get that caulked up. Okay, we are finally done with the south and southeast walls. I don't know if I showed this, but it's like I described. We have a 14-2 wire coming through, going over, and we just have the roll there. We're waiting for the box to go in when we do the other wall. And I got this all caulked up. I put a good deal of caulk on there and mashed it down into the gap, so we shouldn't have any insect problems. Once I get this closed up and get some boxes in, I'll put in the breakers and wire this up, but until then, it's just going to remain like this. This is going to be a little bit difficult to insulate. I got the wrong boxes. I got 3-inch deep boxes and I wanted 2-inch deep boxes. I didn't want to run back and get different boxes, so I used these, and what I'm going to do is just use spray foam behind them, and once I get the wires stripped, I'll foam the inside of the back of the box. I only need like 1 inch worth of this box, so we don't want to waste all that. You know, this is going to be a very cold wall, and if there's nothing back here, this receptacle would be freezing cold. But we'll get that insulated as good as possible. And we have other stuff like these communication boxes. What I'm going to do is cut some rigid foam and put it in right here, and then foam the back area with spray foam, and that'll take care of most of this. I'll probably foam the inside as well. Again, I don't need all that much room, but I do need a box there. I think they make thinner ones than this. This has all this stuff here for the flex conduit. That's what we did in the main house. We ran flex conduit to all this stuff, so you can swap out the wires at a future date. But we're not going to do that here. So it'll be interesting insulating this, but it's not going to take too long. We're going to foam in here as well. I don't know if I have all this stuff on hand, all of this foam. I'm going to have to go take a look. I may have to run to the store for that, but that will be the next video. Getting this insulated, I believe that'll be the next video. It may be me doing the wiring on this wall if Natalie does the insulation on here. So, if you want to see either one of those videos, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.